Buongiorno from Rome. I just arrived here a few hours ago, and yeah, I am horribly jet lagged and probably won't make much sense in this video. I don't really sleep that well, seated upright and on a plane across the Atlantic. Nonetheless, here we are. I have arrived at Santissima Trinità, the parish thereof, where I'm staying with a good friend of mine, and just got settled in and actually just offered my Mass. And I figured I would make a few videos while I'm over here just to give you guys a sense of what I'm looking at and considering, maybe explaining a few things. And so I'm here in the sacristy alone. I don't know when the next time that may be, so I figure now's probably a good time to just consider things of a sacristy. I've always loved this sacristy. I've been into many of them, and by no means are we going to duplicate this, but I just want to show you some features of it. So this is the sacristy of Santissima Trinità in Rome. This building is older than America, and we're not in the main church. This is just, again, the sacristy. I think it's from the late 1600s, and very tall, very beautiful, but you can also tell very, very aged as well. And so you can kind of pan around. You'll see a lot of those triangles with the eye, not because they're Masons, but because it's an image of the Trinity that I believe the Masons took from us. And there's actually a sacristy altar, which is pretty common in Rome. Silentium, it says, be silent. Well, I'm not, but at least I'm alone. So these sacristy altars can be used for a quick, easy private Mass. Actually, this is exactly where I said my Mass. Instead of kind of opening things up in the church and getting the sacristan involved, they actually have a paid sacristan because of the hub of activity here. And actually, I've already cleaned up after my Mass, and the green part is actually a cover. It protects the linen of the altar from dust and whatever else. But you'll notice, of course, the novena of Mother's Mass envelopes on the altar while I say Mass. But bishops would actually be vested traditionally at an altar. So you could imagine a room full of servers and priests and whatever, and a bishop getting vested for a really big Mass here. The heart of the sacristy, of course, is where you keep all your stuff. And there's a lot of cabinetry, very, very beautiful. And I always love the predella on which you stand for it. I've kind of opened up some things, make it a little bit easier to see, but you'll notice, there are 4 Mass vestments set up, ready to go for tomorrow morning, and that just gives you a sense of just how many priests are always floating around through here, whether they actually live here or are visiting. In fact, this looks like Father John Zulsdorf, who's a blogger. He may be in town. But I love these little cards that say, okay, this is the altar in the church, at which altar you're going to say Mass. And I think the second slide is for a name, but that's when you have a really busy place. So very beautiful cabinetry, and I use one of these chalices for Holy Mass. Oops. I'm going to disrupt things here. Kind of close it without breaking anything. You can get a sense of how old these things are. Definitely don't want to break it. Of course, the clock is now chiming. They also gave me, you can imagine, like all the priests who come through here, they give them each a cubbyhole. So you'll see that I was given number 10. So actually the linens that I use for Mass daily here, I will keep them there so they don't have to wash them every day. But just very cool stuff. You'll notice even the cabinetry has a protection on it. And then within sacristy cabinetries, you'll have drawers made specifically for vestments. And so they have a lot of vestments here because, again, it's a very busy place. And they're just beautifully made. You can tell these have been redone not too long ago. But you can be in old sacristies and they're creaking and crackling, and they just haven't been touched for a long time. So at any rate, this is sort of like what the sacristy traditionally would look like. Oh, I love these things too. It's a couple little areas for a priest to prepare for Holy Mass. So preparatio missam, preparation for Mass. And then I would imagine, yeah, the Gratia Moxia. So the Thanksgiving after Mass, so you can imagine just kneeling here, saying your prayers before or after. So at any rate, oh, and you guys notice that I put a vestment on the altar itself. It's called an antependium, literally meaning hanging before. And so, I don't even know if I can get in here. Yep. So this is where they keep theirs. Well, I don't want to break anything, but at any rate, they're actually framed, and so they're kept in this very large cabinet. But at any rate, that's it for a sacristy. I'm going to go get a lot of espresso and carbonara. God bless.